Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'd like to talk with you about the planet of Mercury and its energy in your chart, what the energy is, how you can find out what your Mercury is, and how it influences your chart. So, the planet of Mercury is the planet of communication. Let me break that down for you, because in our society we think of communication as basically being talking. It can be talking, it can also be looking, it can be listening, it can be anything that involves us communicating with one another. So Mercury being the planet of communication. And now, when you find out what that energy is, in what sign it is in, right? One of the 12 signs. Mercury shows you what your purpose is, what your goal is in communicating. So to find your Mercury planet energy, you go up here to this link, and as I told you in the first video, you can plug in the day, the month, the year you were born, and the time and the place, and it'll show you your whole chart. So, but I can tell you that whatever sign your sun is in, Mercury is either going to be in that same sign, it's going to be in the sign preceding that sign, or the sign after that sign. So, if you are a Leo sun, your Mercury is going to be in either Cancer, Leo, or Virgo. If you are a Scorpio sun, your Mercury is going to be in either Libra, Scorpio, or Sagittarius. And for me, I am a Scorpio sun and a Scorpio Mercury. And my Mercury in Scorpio is at 0 degrees 0.57 in Scorpio, and it's in retrograde. I will get to the retrograde in a minute. But first, I'll tell you that, so to give an example of Mercury showing you what you have as a goal in communication, as a Mercury in Scorpio, my goal in communicating with people, nonverbal or verbal, is to get to the bottom of things. It's to get to this honest center of what we are talking about. So in my jobs, which involve teaching and leadership, whenever I'm talking with people, I'm aiming to get to the center of whatever it is we are talking about. I don't want to talk around something. I will talk around something if it gets us to the center of something. But my goal is to not just talk around something, it's to talk into the center of it. I want to get out of someone and get out of myself what it is exactly that is the real thing behind what we're talking about, right? So I could say, yeah, I noticed that you came in this morning and you looked really great, because I can tell that they're not doing well, right? And then I look for their response. Oh, thank you. I say, yeah, I really love the purple on you. The goal is not just to compliment them. It's, for me, it's helping them feel better in the moment, but it's also for me to see how they react to that, to see really how badly are they doing. Because if they can't even receive that, then I'm going to swerve, I'm going to go to something else, and I'm going to either not talk to them anymore at that moment and just let them be if I feel that's what they need, or I'm going to ask another question. I'm going to maybe ask how things are going, but my purpose is not just to make small talk. It's never to make small talk as a Mercury in Scorpio. Now, with the sign in retrograde in Mercury, basically a retrograde means that that energy and its purpose is challenged. So with Mercury in retrograde, y'all have heard of Mercury in retrograde when it transits, and everyone is affected by Mercury in retrograde, right? Where there's miscommunication everywhere. As a natal Mercury in retrograde, I am used to that all the time. Almost after every conversation that I have with people, I go through it in my head afterwards and I think, now is that exactly what I wanted to say making these videos? Afterwards, I think, now did I get my point across? Did I say what I really wanted to say? Someone with Mercury in retrograde will always be questioning and rethinking and redoing what they talk about. We can often sound not sure of ourselves or less organized than we want to be, or we can at least perceive that as such for ourselves. We could be totally clear, and in fact, I would say, for someone with Mercury in retrograde, it isn't necessarily negative. Challenged does not mean negative. It means an opportunity for growth. So with Mercury in retrograde, actually, all of my jobs involve lots of communication with people and require fine-tuning communication with people. And with a Mercury in retrograde, I find that a great challenge, and I love it, because I know that my communication isn't as good as it could be, and I'm always thinking about it and aiming to improve it, thinking about it to a fault. But that gives you an idea that if your energy is in retrograde, it doesn't mean that you are not good at that energy. It just means that you are more aware of the pitfalls of how you do that thing, right? So for Mercury, I am constantly aware of the pitfalls and how I can communicate and how things can come across. It doesn't mean that I'm bad at communication. So for you, if you see a retrograde in your chart, in any sign, in any planet, don't immediately think that you're going to be terrible in that energy or that you're doomed. Start to think of it as an opportunity. What does this energy mean? What planet is it in? So what form does it take? What challenges do I have in that? So as someone who loves to communicate with people, seeing Mercury in retrograde makes me realize, oh yeah, that means that I should look for opportunities that I can communicate with people. That includes making these videos. And as a Mercury in Scorpio, when I seek to communicate better, I'm seeking to communicate better to get to the center of the Scorpio energy, to get to the center of what we're really about when I'm with someone in a room. So that is Mercury energy. Remember, it's not always talking. It can be nonverbals, it can be looks, it can be hugs, it can be lack of hugs. Mercury, though, is communication. In my next video, I will talk about Venus and what that means for you.